Kicking off this list at number 10 is Miley Cyrus. If you followed her past relationship with Liam Hemsworth at all, then you probably remember the alleged love triangle between Miley, Liam, and Jennifer. That's not a triangle, that's a diamond. Rumors spread like wildfire when the Hunger Games first came out, with people suggesting that Jen and Liam had something between them off the big screen. For years, no one really knew if it was true or not, but then Jen confirmed it for fans in December of 2015. She went on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen and admitted to making out with Liam off set. Andy asked her if they have ever kissed when the cameras weren't rolling, and Jennifer's response was, "Liam and I grew up together. Liam's real hot. What would you have done?" "Yeah, I have." Reports say this is actually why Miley and Liam got back together after their first initial split, because Miley got jealous and thought she might lose him to Jen. Now, how much of this is true we won't really know, but Jen confirmed that she and Liam had a little something something, and that is something I've always wondered personally. So glad it was confirmed. Up next, number 9 is Jared Leto. She had some sort of weird tension with the actor back in 2014, and it all came out at the Oscar Awards. She took the stage to present the award for Best Actor and called out someone in the audience by asking, "What, is this funny?" Turns out the mystery audience member was Jared Leto. He explained what happened later on and said that Ellen DeGeneres was on the sidelines making jokes that had him, his mom, and his brother all cracking up and laughing. When asked about if he felt bad interrupting Jennifer unintentionally, he made sarcastic comments like, "I guess we don't have any manners." To top it all off, he was then asked about Jen's famous fall when she tumbled up the stage to accept her award at the Oscars, and Jared responded by saying, "You know, I'm starting to wonder if this is a bit of an act." We're not sure what the tension is between them, but there is a lot of sarcasm between the two of them. They both just seem like very sarcastic people though, in general.
Number 8. Naomi Campbell. While many celebs chose to take either the side of Johnny Depp or Amber Heard, model and actress Naomi Campbell chose to be on the side of Kate Moss, praising her for standing up against Amber Heard and showing the world that Amber Heard had been a liar. This being in reference to Heard alleging Johnny Depp had pushed Kate Moss down the stairs, which Kate Moss confidently denied, showing us the statement had no truth to it. After Kate's testimony, Naomi Campbell posted an Instagram story saying, "Yes, Wagon, tell it." Wagon being a nickname that Campbell had been using to refer to Moss for years. This post also highlighted a screenshot of an article about Moss's appearance in the trial. With Naomi so excited about Kate exposing Amber's lies, it's no doubt that Naomi probably had some animosity towards Amber and her statements and lies throughout the trial.
Making his way into number 7 is Spencer Pratt. Seems like a really random feud since they come from two totally different worlds, one being a Hollywood actor and another coming from MTV reality shows. But in 2017 she landed the cover of Vogue, and during her interview she said that her house was flooded with crystals. She said when she first moved in there were crystals everywhere, and she asked to get rid of them ASAP because she hates them. She said, "Please get rid of these. I don't want people to come over here and think I'm a crazy crystal person." This is where Spencer Pratt came in. He is one of those crazy crystal people, as she called them. After the Vogue interview was out, he went on the defensive and announced that he felt personally attacked by her comments. He did an interview with The Morning Breath and said, "She was talking about me in Vogue, like 100% I'm the crazy crystal person she's clowning, so I'll see her. We'll bump into each other at the Beverly Hills Hotel like I see all the A-listers and they run from me." Honestly, I don't think she was talking about you. I don't think she cares. Really? Like in the Vogue interview, I don't think she's thinking of Spencer Pratt. No offense. In spot number 6 is Chloe Sevigny. Now I know I probably said that wrong, so just forgive me and move on from it, okay? The actress didn't hold back when sharing her thoughts on Jennifer Lawrence and was honest about it during an interview in 2015. She sat down with V Magazine and asked if she ever worries about being typecast. After admitting that she does, she explained herself and said, "They'll have a really peppy funny girl on the talk show rounds and everybody adores her and loves her and wants to be her, and then so many more people want to watch the movie or TV show." She then went on to name a couple of A-listers who she admires and one that she could do without. That one? It's Jennifer Lawrence. Her exact words were, "Jennifer Lawrence I find annoying, too crass." We're not sure why she targeted Jen in the interview. No reports surfaced about them having any kind of tension towards one another, so it still remains a mystery. The amount of times I've been called annoying in my life, I just take it as a compliment at this point. Halfway through at number 5 is Donald Trump Jr. Does he even count as a celebrity? Probably not, I don't know, but this is still a fun story that I wanted to include. I'm sure being the son of the former president who caused a ton ton of controversy, would often have you in the middle of feuds for anyone who didn't like your dad. Jennifer told Oprah that she would want to meet Donald Trump and said, "I've got a pretty good speech." And it ends with a martini to the face. "I have something to say for all of them. I watch different characters on the news and I'm like, you just wait." Not too long after that, Donald Trump Jr. had something to say to her. He went on Twitter and shared a link to the article with the headline, "Jennifer Lawrence, if I meet Trump, it'll end with a martini to the face." And he fired back and said, "I'm pretty sure that's not how it would end." Jen really didn't seem too bothered by his tweet, and she didn't bother tweeting back, which is probably for the best. Taking over spot number 4 is Kim Kardashian. This one seemed like a lot of miscommunication or an issue that was never an issue, but the media made it look like one. I'm still not really sure. Jen has made it clear for a long time now that she's obsessed with the Kardashians, and she even started having a friendship with Kris Jenner. According to a source who spoke to Radar Online, Kim started to have enough of Jen's attention. Reports claim that Kim went into a jealous rage over the close relationship that was developing between her mom and Jen. The source said, I quote, "Kim was always Kris's favorite until Jennifer crashed the scene. She was waltzing into the family's world acting like a superstar and upsetting the order with her loud chaos. Kris says she's a hoot and treats her like the blonde daughter she never had. The sunshine walks with Jennifer in Kris's eyes, and Kim is fed up and doesn't know what to do." No one is sure if any of this is true because things seemed to be okay between them when Jennifer interviewed Kim on Jimmy Kimmel Live when she took over his show. It seemed very normal to me, but that could always just be an act. I'm really not sure. Sniping the number 3 spot is Lala Kent. It's no secret that Jen speaks her mind and doesn't normally beat around the bush. But people were surprised to see some of the comments she made on Watch What Happens Live regarding Lala Kent. During the interview, she called her a C-word, because I cannot say that word. But apparently it was in a joking manner. Whether it was a joke or not, Kent didn't take too kindly to it and went on Twitter to talk about it. She sent out a bunch of tweets that have since been deleted. A month after, she went on a podcast to talk about it, and she made comments saying Jen's last 2 films were fails, and said she's the type of chick who would give Harvey Weinstein favors for roles. Honestly, that was just the tip of the iceberg of the comments she made. She went in very hard on the actress, even picking apart her appearance. However, Jen still stands by the fact that she was joking in her initial interview. I mean, I don't get the joke. When I'm joking, I don't use that word, but okay. Next up at number 2, we have J-Lo. This feud was never really a feud, but people didn't know that right away until J-Lo cleared it up once the media had turned it into something. During a visit to The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon back in 2014, Jennifer Lawrence treated the audience to a party story that included Jimmy and J-Lo. She revealed that she was drunk and she and Jimmy both saw J-Lo and they said they wanted to ask her to dance, so they made a plan that they would do a spin and say, "Dance with us." Turns out Jimmy chickened out, so Jen was left to do it on her own, but she got the cold shoulder from J-Lo. She did the spin, asked her to dance, and J-Lo replied with, "No, I think I'm gonna observe." Obviously, Jen was devastated, as I would be, so the media ran with that story. But J-Lo cleared things up with Access Hollywood and said that she told Jen, "I'm good right here," only because it was really crowded at the moment, so she just literally wanted to stay right there in that area. She cleared it up though by saying that she would have loved to dance with Jen, so kind of a big misunderstanding.
Number 2, Aubrey O'Day. When Julia Fox tried to defend Amber Heard, singer and reality TV star Aubrey O'Day clapped back to stand up for Johnny Depp and slam Julia's opinion. Julia's opinion was that Amber never had any power in the relationship and thus wouldn't have been able to be the one who caused their mistreatment. She said, "You need to have power to be able to abuse it. She was 25. He clearly was always way more powerful, including physically and financially." This statement received mixed responses across all of social media. Some people agreeing with her and some people thinking it was just plain incorrect. Aubrey O'Day was one of those, calling it a trash take. In her response on Twitter, she said, "Plenty of broke, short, skinny, non-famous people have abused their partner. Abuse is simply cruel and violent treatment of a person, power not being a necessary factor. Less powerful people abuse their more powerful partner out of jealousy all the time. People seem to appreciate her response. One reply saying, "I 100% agree with your statement. Very well said." Number 10. Drew Barrymore. Santa Clarita Diet actress Drew Barrymore fell under fire for comments that she had made about both Johnny Depp and Amber Heard on her show, The Drew Barrymore Show. She had been speaking with actor Anthony Anderson when they got onto the topic of the trial. Barrymore went on to say that both the people involved in the trial were insane and crazy for sharing this part of their lives with the world. She said, "It's like one layer of crazy. It's a 7-layer dip of insanity. I know that these are two people's real lives and I know what it's like to have your life put out in public. I understand all the feelings, but they're actually offering up all this information that nobody had to know. This is crazy." People immediately clapped back at her for her comments, taking issue with how she had mocked the trial and made fun of the two people involved in it. Drew quickly took to Instagram to issue an apology, saying, "I just want to deeply apologize and appreciate everyone who spoke out, because this can be a teachable moment for me and how I move forward and how I conduct myself." Number 9. Greg Ellis. Actor Greg Ellis worked alongside Johnny Depp during the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, and he also stood at his side throughout the trial. He has also been a strong believer and supporter of the hashtag #MenToo movement that went along with the hashtag #MeToo movement. He made one tweet saying, "Johnny Depp is innocent, Amber Heard is guilty. Now can we have a hashtag #MenToo dialogue rather than a hashtag #MeToo monologue?" Likely a clap back to Amber Heard's response to the loss, where she said that the trial was a setback for women, survivors of inappropriate mistreatment, and the Me Too movement as a whole. Ellis clearly wanted to highlight the fact that men are also victims in the statement that he made. When the trial concluded and the verdict was reached, he tweeted out, "He did it, they did it, we did it, we won. The truth won out." Obviously highlighting that he had been on the side of Johnny throughout the entirety of the trial, even retweeting Depp's thank you letter and saying, "Plant your flag for Johnny Depp."
Cruising into number 8 is Joan Rivers. Back in November 2013, Jen did an interview with the Yahoo CEO Marissa Mayer and was asked about body positivity. One man asked her a question on behalf of his daughter and said, "Having experienced body image criticism in Hollywood, what is your advice to young girls dealing with the same treatment from their peers and your response to those who judge others based on appearances?" Jen responded by saying, "Screw those people," and went on to call out Joan Rivers' show Fashion Police. She called out the show and said that shows like that are showing younger generations of young people to judge other people based on things like their appearance, and that it is wrong. Joan wasn't too impressed with her comment, and she took her thoughts to Twitter. Some of her tweets said, "It's funny how Jennifer Lawrence loved the show during awards season when we were complimenting her every single week. She actually even went on to make a joke about Jen's famous Oscar fall and said that she tripped over her own arrogance." Shots fired. Although I don't fully agree with that show either. You're literally judging someone on their appearance. That's the entire show.
Number 7. Meghan McCain. American television personality Meghan McCain spoke out about how she felt that both parties in the trial were toxic. While she tried to remain impartial and not take any sides, she made comments that point to her not particularly liking Depp or Heard. She said in the Daily Mail, "If there's any truth to any of it, Depp and Heard had one of the most toxic, dysfunctional, and violent relationships since Sid and Nancy," referring to Sid Vicious of the Sex Pistols and his girlfriend Nancy Spungen. She also criticized the public's views of the trial and how people had been siding with Depp early on, saying, "We should have never blindly believed Heard's accusations and stood by while Depp was stripped of his career, and we should not make up for it now by automatically siding against Heard. The lesson we should take from all of this is that due process is essential, and we must trust but verify when the lives, careers, and reputations of both sides hang in the balance." Number 6. Chris Rock. Comedian Chris Rock is no stranger to throwing a few punches in his jokes and receiving a few in return, as we saw Will Smith do when he got up on stage during the Oscars to defend his wife for a joke that Chris Rock made about her, which many viewing had deemed as offensive. During a comedy show in London, he started off talking about the trial by saying, believe all women except Amber Heard. Believe all women being in reference to a movement to believe women when they speak up about mistreatment. He then continued on to throw shade at her for the alleged situation where she defecated on Johnny Depp's side of the bed. I'll quote him, but for YouTube's sake, I'll be replacing the word shit with the word poop. Here we go. "She pooped in his bed. She's fine, but she's not pooping fine. She pooped in his bed. Once you poop in someone's bed, you just guilty of everything. What the f is going on there? Wow, and they had a relationship after that, saying that Amber Heard was attractive, but not so attractive that she could ever get away with defecating on someone's bed. Number 5. Sharon Osbourne. Television host Sharon Osbourne has been pretty outspoken with her support of Johnny Depp and what she thinks about Amber Heard, oftentimes calling Johnny both a gentle soul and a good human being. But here's what she had to say about Amber Heard. At any time she could have left. She wasn't a little wallflower. She was a mover and shaker in town. I mean, look who she went with right after him. So she wasn't some innocent little wallflower. She knows the game. She knows how it goes. Also saying that to her it appeared as though Amber wanted to destroy him. By the end of it, she said on the show Lorraine that we all have ugliness in our relationships, but theirs was extreme, and that they both need to just move on with life. She said she honestly didn't expect Johnny Depp to win, but that she was glad he did. She was even present at his surprise musical performance with Jeff Beck, saying that she greatly enjoyed it, especially because Beck was playing some of Ozzy's music. Number 4. Eva Green. French actress and model Eva Green took to Instagram to share her support of Johnny Depp and her belief that Amber Heard was trying to take him down. Eva worked with Depp in the 2012 movie Dark Shadows, and it seems that that's where her support and approval of the man comes from. On Instagram, she posted a photo of the two together on the red carpet of the movie to her just over 1 million followers. In the caption of the photo posted on May 19th, she said, "I have no doubt Johnny will emerge with his good name and wonderful heart revealed to the world, and life will be better than it ever was for him and his family." Many people in her comments, as with most people on the internet, seem to agree with her seeing Johnny as the victim of the story and painting Amber Heard as the villain. Commenters saying things like, "Love this," "Thank you Eva," and "Thank you for supporting him." It seems many of Depp's past co-workers came out to support him and stand up for his name and character throughout the trial. Number 3. Trisha Paytas. YouTube celebrities didn't stay silent about the trial either, as even internet celebrity and frequent topic of drama Trisha Paytas had something to say about the situation. At first, people thought that Trisha had been supporting Amber when they posted a YouTube video where they said that they could empathize with Amber because they had once been in a similar situation to her. When they saw a video claiming that they had supported Amber Heard, they denied this while in the car with their partner Moses, saying, "I saw a title today that was like Trisha Paytas defends Amber Heard. I was not defending her. I literally was just like, I can empathize with her." The YouTuber also went on to say that Heard should never work in Hollywood again until she shows remorse. They also previously spoke in a YouTube video about the trial saying, "I feel horrible for Johnny Depp. To be physically abused and in a society where you're the man being by a woman." While they appear to be in support of Depp and against Heard right now, they are known for often sticking themselves into drama and calling out people only to flip and go back on it later. So who knows what stance they'll have a week from now.
In the number 1 spot is Lindsay Lohan. In December 2015, while promoting Joy on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Jen stirred up some controversy with a dig at Lindsay. Colbert praised her for being a star who's willing to talk about the things that aren't so glamorous and asked her about getting sick while shooting Joy in Boston. Jen candidly talked about how she got a stomach virus and was puking a lot. During her story time, she said, "I just keep going until eventually my body is just like, if we don't make her barf or pass out, she won't stop. I get like Lindsay Lohan grade exhaustion, but without any drugs or alcohol." Immediately afterwards, Lindsay's sister Aliana jumped to her defense on Twitter and wrote, "I never breathe life into negativity, but I stand by my family. Disappointed in Jennifer Lawrence? Not cool." Lindsay ended up chiming in saying, "Thank you sister, maybe who you're referring to should learn to support others." Lindsay's mom then later told Entertainment Tonight that they have all been a fan of Jennifer's and her movies, and that it was very disappointing to see her trash talk Lindsay like that.
Number 1. Kirstie Alley. Actress, producer, model, and television personality Kirstie Alley seems to share her opinion of Amber Heard with many of those who had been watching and following the trial closely. She was also another who seemed to criticize both of the people involved in the trial and found issue with the fact of how publicly the trial was shared and viewed. Many people said that the way people were following along and dissecting every second for drama and memes was a gross reflection of where our society is currently at. On May 17th, Kirstie took to her Twitter to say, "I don't quite understand this trial between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. It seems just like a shit show. Can't quite figure out how it helps either one of them. Just seems like a typical day in the life of an extremely talented drug addict and an extremely beautiful narcissist. People in the replies seem to agree with her, saying things like, they're actors being used to distract us, and I'm embarrassed for them.
Kris Jenner. Believe it or not, the Kardashian clan used to be super close to the Smith family, particularly because Kris's kids got along super well with Jada and Will's kids. In fact, Kendall and Jaden are still super close, but we never see the adults hanging out anymore. It's very likely that their friendship didn't survive the whole famous Khloe Kardashian, Tristan Thompson, Jordan Woods love triangle in 2019. After Jordan was exposed for making out with Khloe's ex Tristan, Jada decided to have Jordan on her talk show, Red Table Talk, to reveal her side of the story. The interview featured a ton of sympathy for Jordan as she said her piece about what went down. Jada and Will have known Jordan since she was born because her father worked on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Apparently, after the allegations came to light, Jordan came to Jada asking for help. Quote, I just wanted her to have a platform to tell her story. That's it. She's a young, beautiful woman inside and out, and me having been a young girl, we sometimes get into situations that we don't necessarily know how to handle. It's likely that all this sympathy towards Jordan led the Kardashian matriarch to cut ties with Jada, as they were never seen getting close after the incident. Promptly after the interview, the Jenners and the Kardashians all unfollowed Jada and Will on Instagram and vice versa. That being said, they still let their kids hang out as Jaden was spotted at Kendall's infamous controversial 2020 birthday bash. Next up is Olivia Jade. While there's no overt animosity between Jada and Olivia Jade, there was definitely some very public discussion of having her on the Red Table Talk show. After the college admissions scandal that put Olivia Jade's mother, Lori Loughlin, in jail for attempting to cheat her daughter's way into college, Olivia Jade attempted to go onto Red Table Talk to set records straight. She went onto the talk show in 2020, and Jada's co-host, her own mother, was extremely public about her distaste for Olivia's appearance. Jada's mom stated, quote, I fought it tooth and nail. I just found it really ironic that she chose 3 black women to reach out to for her redemption story. I feel like here we are, a white woman coming to a black woman for support when we don't get the same from them. It's bothersome to me on so many levels. Her being here is the epitome of white privilege to me. And honestly, it's hard not to see her point. The whole time Olivia Jade was on the show, she just kept talking about, oh, poor me, I didn't realize how privileged I am, blah blah blah. And Jada's mom let her have it. She told Olivia straight to her face, quote, there is so much violent dehumanization that the black community has to go through on a daily basis, right? There's so much devastation, particularly this year, 2020, and everything being brought to the table. There is so much inequality and inequity that when you come to the table with something like this, it's like, child, please. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted with everything we have to deal with as a community, and I just don't have the energy to put into the fact that you lost your endorsements and you're not in school right now. Whoa, I can't even imagine that going over super well on the friendship mark, especially considering this public blasting was broadcasted all over. Next up is Tom Segura. While this may be more towards Will Smith, Tom Segura has held absolutely nothing back when torching the Smith family online for the Oscars slap incident. Obviously, a lot of celebrities are ticked off at Will Smith right now, but Tom definitely brought his distaste for Jada into this rant. In a series of tweets, he said, quote, let me tell you this, man, the idea that you're entitled thinks because your feelings are hurt, you get to one of the all-time greats because you feel, and then the cowards, the spineless cowards that are in Hollywood and comedy. We have all the lists of the guys. It's insane. It's like a gross exaggeration. You see it all the time. I mean, you see entitlement everywhere, and that was on full display for the world to see. I have zero respect for that, and I feel like more people need to come out and say it. It's unacceptable. Damn. Tom, tell us how you really feel. That being said, it's unclear if the in question is Will or Jada. It could be either or both in this situation. Either way, I doubt Tom will be invited to any Smith family dinners in the near future. Next up is August Alsina. While I think maybe this one is a bit of a stretch because it's hard to hate someone who's actively keeping you relevant, I do think that August Alsina can't be happy with how his name has been dragged through the mud with this weird open marriage thing that he was involved with. He claimed to have dedicated years of his life to Jada after they had initially been introduced when Jaden brought him home as a friend. Although the two had their affair while Jada and Will were separated, it didn't stop the actor from writing an entire album called Entanglements about her. It has also just been announced that he's going to write a memoir about his time with Jada, which I am like 99% sure is to A, keep him relevant, and B, to drag Will and Jada's name through the ringer. Next up is Sheree Zampino. Sheree Zampino is the ex-wife of Will Smith, who he had one son with named Trey. Although this feud is largely over, Jada openly admitted to really disliking her husband's ex-wife, and the feeling was very mutual. When they began their relationship, Jada and Sheree hated each other. They had a lot of issues with their blended family, which basically meant them all co-parenting the kids that they all had with Will. Zampino recalls a moment when she had to speak to Will about their son Trey, but Jada picked up the phone. Quote, "You picked up the phone and I wasn't really respectful. You basically let me know, I don't really appreciate your tone, and I was like, it doesn't matter. And you hung up on me. I called back and I happened to say, bitch, you're living in the house that I picked out." The two then shared a laugh with one another, so I guess this one doesn't really count because they've definitely made amends with one another. Despite having an extremely rocky relationship to begin with, they seem to get over it for the sake of Will Smith and their kids. Okay, this next one is just for laughs, but Will Smith. I mean, God, they must have had an extremely hard time within their marriage because Jada, for better or for worse, constantly lays it out on the table. She airs her dirty laundry with Will genuinely constantly, and a lot of fans think that the Men in Black actor is so stricken with Jada that he won't see just how inappropriate her behavior is. For example, always on her talk show, Jada insinuated that Will doesn't know how to please her in bed when she was discussing intimacy with Gwyneth Paltrow. Also openly admitted to cheating on Will, and she had an extremely intimate relationship with Tupac Shakur despite her claiming never to have dated him. I can't imagine all that going over super well, especially when we, as the ever-watchful public, know all of these things. I think it would be a much easier pill to swallow if the entire internet weren't calling Will a but here we are. And now that the Oscars slap thing happened because Will was defending Jada's hair loss, it really does feel like a house that's so full of pretension and privilege that I think people have just kind of largely given up on the couple.